Hi, I'm Corey. Welcome back to my weekly videos. This is number 8. Let me tell you how my week went. So this week we got to try on our costume for the first time, which was very exciting. Because specifically it's starting to feel like we're getting close now, because we fully blocked the whole play, which is crazy, but super exciting, and excited for what's coming next. So yeah, let's sort of get into it. So this week we blocked Act 3, as well as sort of went over Act 2 from last week, just making little tweaks and going over things and learning new things, which is always fun. So it was super exciting to get involved with that. And yeah, let's answer some questions. Why did you make the decisions you did? It's a good question. I made the decisions that I made this week because I think the scenes that I was in needed it. For example, Act 3, Scene 1 is where I've just left the wedding and I'm on the hunt for Leonardo, and I just find a knife, which isn't in the script, but it was written in for my character by Harry Gould, as he thought it would make sense for me to discover the knife from the moon, as if the moon has always sort of been one step ahead of the whole story, which, to be fair, is kind of hinted at through Lorca's writing as well. But yeah, so I discover the knife, and then it sort of gives me this power that I'm not used to, which then I use it to feel my rage. So it was fun because I love getting to shout at, when performing. I find it quite therapeutic, especially if I've had, like a long sort of day, or I just have lots of pent up feelings. It's good to be able to use that to sort of fuel my craft. And Michael, who was also in the scene with me, he was very lovely, and he performed well, and he let me sort of go as far out as I wanted to, which included using a little bit of violence. Nothing hard or physical, of course, but something that just added some scene, like a scruff the neck grab or pushing him maybe, again, safely. So yeah, and that sort of was a decision that both me and the director did, because we thought it would sort of bring the character to life more. The challenges you faced and how you worked to overcome these, and what the outcome was. So challenge I was excuse me again. Challenge that I found was in the scene where I am yelling at Michael. It was trying to get myself to be brave enough to yell and say some not very nice things, or do some not very nice things to Michael, because he's very lovely. And I'm not a shouty person. I'm not normally quite yelly, so it was difficult for me to get the words out in the sort of emotion that I needed for the scene. So what we did was, Harry Gould told me to do some things to like get myself in the zone and sort of fight myself, and like yell at myself, and be like, oh, you need to do this better, and this and this. Like just say some not very nice things, again in the spirit of doing the scene, of course. And then going in and performing it, and it worked, and it really sort of allowed me to get in the mindset. Also keeping the fact that I'm sort of part animal as well from the hunt scene just prior. So yeah, it was cool. I got to do lots of fun things, which was wicked. Yeah. Gosh, very sorry about me. Okay, so the key question this week is, how do you think you as an individual and as a group have supported the director's concept for the show in the rehearsal space? Me personally, similar to how I was talking about just now, is sort of making sure I keep asking questions, so then he's getting the sort of understanding that he wants us to have. So let's say I have a question about how I need to say the line or what my character's feeling in the scene. I would always ask him these questions, so then he would be like, okay, so for example, in the fight scene, he'd be like, so your character has just found out that your wife is like left you, and he was like, do you have a girlfriend? I was like, yeah. And he said, okay, we'll use that as sort of, imagine she'd run off with an ex-partner who isn't very nice, and especially not to you. How would you feel? And I was like, okay. And he was like, well, then sort of channel that, but imagine that you have no sort of boundaries and that you are like this sort of superhuman being who has these abilities to go and transform into animals or has super strength or something like that, and then almost believe it with the sort of how you hold the knife and how you present yourself, almost as if you're not yourself but your character's self anymore. So it's just making sure I listen to him as much as I can and getting as much of the information as I can from him. And then as a group, I think the way we supported it is by listening to him as much as we can. So, you know, make sure that we're focused. And, excuse me. Gosh. Listening to him and making sure that we're staying focused as much as we can. But also, if he's struggling with something, offering ideas on how to make it better or to seem a bit more flowy or natural for the play. Obviously, if we're doing crawling around, it's not going to seem natural, but like supernatural then. And yeah. So it's this week was cool. 2 weeks left, or 1 week left of rehearsals, and then show week. Scary. I'm excited. Yeah. So cool. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.